جائزة الملك فيصل العالمية للعلوم وموضوعها علم الحياة البيولوجيا، فقد فاز بها البروفيسور روجر فينر الألماني الجنسية، الأستاذ بجامعة زيورخ بسويسرا، وقد رشحته للجائزة جامعة هامبولد ببرلين، ومنح إياها تقديراً لبحوثه التي تركزت في دراسة كيفية تحكم نملة تزن حوالي 1/100 من الجرام بواسطة دماغها الذي يبلغ وزنه حوالي 1/10,000 من الجرام في تحديد الاتجاهات والملاحة في الصحراء، مبيناً القدرات العصبية والبصرية المذهلة لهذا المخلوق. وقد فتحت بحوثه الباب أمام الكثير من الباحثين في العالم لاستخدام نماذج مماثلة لبرولة المفاهيم المختلفة وأساليب البحث الصحيحة لفهم تطور الأجهزة العصبية وطريقة عملها وكيفية تحكمها في السلوكيات. ويسرني الآن أن أدعوه لاستلام الجائزة ثم إلقاء كلمته. Professor Wehner, would you please come forward to receive the prize and give your speech?
Custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdallah ibn Abdulaziz, Your Royal Highness, Prince Sultan ibn Abdulaziz, Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. When I received the message that I had become the winner of this year's King Faisal International Prize for Science, I was thunderstruck, excited, almost speechless. But speechlessness is the least you expect of me today. Most of all, however, I felt deeply honored and grateful. I felt honored that my lifelong research, centered on the extraordinary sensory and computational capabilities of a remarkable insect, had been recognized to such an extent that the King Faisal Foundation decided to award me its prestigious prize for science. Besides its international reputation, the King Faisal International Prize for Science means a lot to me on a very personal level. To let you join my feelings, I must go back a bit in history, in my personal history. After I had finished my PhD work with Martin Lindauer at University of Frankfurt, I entered the genetics laboratory of Ernst Hardon at the University of Zurich. Here, developmental genetics had just set the stage for the rising era of molecular biology. It was during these exciting times, at the advent of modern biosciences, that a chance event occurred. I came across Cataclysmis, a little beauty, a conspicuous, long-legged, highly speedy ant. It dashed and darted across the surface of the Sahara Desert, and finally returned home along a straight line as the crow flies over distances of several thousand times its body length. This was a task we humans would not be able to accomplish without being provided with a lot of instruments and some fairly detailed knowledge in mathematical calculus. No wonder that this ant, with its full-sounding name Cataclysmis, struck me immediately. There was a fascinating piece of behavior, obviously easily observable and potentially amenable to experimental analysis, and there was an organism endowed with a tiny brain and yet able to solve an extremely complex computational problem. When I returned to Zurich with Cataclysmis in mind and with a still vague idea of designing a major research project on how this tiny animal used vision, its eyes, for navigation, everyone was skeptical. Everyone warned me. My scientific gurus, such as Martin Lindau in Frankfurt, Hans-Joachim Outram in Munich, Ernst Hardon in Zurich, urged me not to focus my research activities on what was then a peculiar organism that inhabited a remote part of the world and was hitherto completely unknown to the scientific community. Cataclysms could, this was a general warning, destroy the career of a junior scientist. Of course, I listened to these well-intentioned advices, but I ignored them. I trusted in cataclysms, and cataclysms did not let me down. Seen in this light, I owe it to my early confidence in this animal and in its kind of behavior that I am finally considered worth the King Faisal Prize for Science. Hence and foremost, I owe a great debt of gratitude to those who nominated me and to the selection committee members for selecting me for the award. Moreover, I feel honored that the King Faisal Foundation has recognized and rewarded a kind of biological research that had not only been adventurous, even dangerously risky in the beginning, but also multifaceted in its final realization. With generations of highly motivated graduate students and postdoc students, I have been looking at the elaborate behavioral responses of one organism from different methodological angles. Detailed behavioral experiments have been accompanied by studies in the neurosciences, in neuroanatomy and electrophysiology. The results obtained this way have led to mathematical models of neural architectures, to computer simulations, and finally to the design of robots, some kind of Mars mobiles, but more conveniently structured. Now these autonomous agents are moving along with cataclysms across the desert floor. However, there is yet another field of research I have been guided into by cataclysms, and this is behavioral ecology. This is a question of how an organism which exploits its harsh desert environment as successfully as cataclysms does has managed to fill this particular ecological niche. And it is here that I myself, and my wife as well, fell deeply in love with this environment, with the vast desert plains of the Sahara, the Arabian sands, the wadis and oases, and above all, the human culture that flourishes in these exceptionally beautiful parts of our world. It all started 40 years ago when I ignored the strong warnings of my elder colleagues, followed my intuitive inner voice, and designed a research project that in hindsight must have been outrageously daring. It might have failed completely, but obviously it did not. How else could I have been awarded this prestigious prize? I say this because I hope that the junior fellows in our bioscience community get encouraged by the story I have told, that they become adventurous and brave enough to trust in their intuitions, that they follow new paths rather than jog along with a crowd of current mainstream researchers. If this happens, if you young fellow scientists, which I see in front of my inner eyes, discover your own cataclysm, so to speak, then the King Faisal International Prize, awarded to me today, will have fulfilled its purpose well beyond the present occasion. Finally, allow me to express my sincere thanks to His Royal Highness Prince Khalid Al Faisal, Chairman of the Prize Committee, for this honor. Thank you.